Good morning. It's Harvey Jackson from Exceed Grain Marketing and
Shaylin
Shaylin.
Erickson. Yeah.
So we're just going to go through some market updates. I have an older picture of some updated prices. Canola is up $20. Rapeseed was up a couple of bucks a euro. Soybean oil was up half a cent a pound. Had a really strong day yesterday. Palm oil was also up, and soybeans up. Spring wheat's pretty well flat as well. And yeah, the actual seeded acreage came out last Thursday, and there were some minor changes to canola and wheat, were the main crops that we're talking about. But it had shown a little bit more than the average seeding intention and lower spring wheat seeding intention on average. Anything else there, Shay?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it. I mean, I think the market was a little higher, which is interesting. I mean, with the higher actual acres, but yeah, overall, I think the market was pretty, yeah, as expected, I guess, even though it was higher than the initial trade number.
Do you want to cover this?
Yeah. So I guess we have soybean planted acres came in at 86.1, which was a little bit lower than the average trade guess, and quite a bit higher though than last year's number. Wheat came in also lower. Sorry, the wheat came in lower than last year, and as well as the average trade guess too. So, and we got corn acres are higher than average trade guess and lower than last year. So,
and then one thing I do want to point out is all the ending stocks went up than expected, and that was maybe a little bit of pressure on the market for temporary during the trading session.
Sure.
Winter wheat harvest at 54%. The other thing I want to point out on this slide, good to excellent ratings are flat to down, but that's to be expected. When the crop conditions tend to go down from now going into fall more often than not. Let's just go through this quickly. This is the actual USDA numbers as well. The soybean ending stocks up in the US, right? Global ending stocks up.
Also climbing,
yeah. Corn
ending stocks climbing too. And yeah, global corn ending stocks are pretty flat or lower overall. Wheat ending stocks are climbing here for the US, and global wheat ending stocks are dropping.
That should give us some support for wheat, I would think, with a 7 million-ish, just plus a little bit higher or lower stocks. I would expect that anyway.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, and then we got, this is a kind of showing a map here. You got over to the right side of the map, you got China, drought conditions that are developing to the northern part of the growing area, and then to the southern part of the growing area, you got flooding along the south of that river there. Over in India, things are looking hot and dry as well, with the late monsoon. And then, of course, as we've been talking about for the last little while, lots of drought issues going on in Ukraine and Western Russia. Anything to add to that, Harvey? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Just that I think there is a lot of weather playing out in the northern hemisphere, and I think we just have to keep that in mind. I took this from Nutrient Ag, and the radar is tracking across some of these drier areas as we speak. I am not in a dry area. Continue to get more.
Midwest is going to get some moisture here.
And what I want to just point out quickly, and I think I've shown this a few times, but the differences between these two models, GFS and the European model, there's a fair bit of difference between what shows up for moisture at what point in time for the next 7 days. And it's just ongoing. Expect the models to be wrong. I do want to point out just this bullseye right here where there is a bit of drought in the winter. Yeah. And that actually might help
harvest
if
and
you're harvesting, yeah, but
right.
it's not going to help anything more than that, I don't think. But
Yeah.
and there's lots of moisture everywhere else in a lot of dark blue areas. Accumulated moisture from April 1st to June 29th. Again, there's always a delay of a few days, but there's some excessive moisture in a few pockets here. Uh, Probably a little bit of drying out in some areas as well, and that shows up in the next slide here as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like that kind of east of Red Deer there, looking pretty dry. And I mean, usually that's a pretty decent growing area, or even the last couple of years where things have been dry, they've always had a great crop. I don't think there's a whole lot of concerns yet. I mean, if we get another rain here shortly, but yeah, something to keep an eye out for sure.
We can take some of this blue and drop it on that pink. Would be fine.
Yeah.
The northern area, the dark black soil zone that made up black soil is actually showing its true colors here with lots of moisture. Differences between the GFS, I've shown this numerous times, the 6 to 7 day outlook GFS showing differences between the GEM and the European AI model. Here's the meat and potatoes that we want to talk about today. November canola gapped higher. Is there an upside target? Shay,
I would
what do
say,
you
yeah,
think?
kind of around that 61% Fibonacci and around that 660 futures level, which we did hit. I know it doesn't show on this chart here, but we did, or we didn't quite hit. We barely got just below that 660 level this morning. But it since has backed off to around this 650, 645 to 650 level again. So,
Yeah. And I just want to point out on the slide, I had pointed this out a few or maybe a couple of weeks ago, looking at some of these technical indicators and when does the market tend to go up and when does it tend to go down. We got technical indicators that would be pointing up. We had a few clients going long and buying futures and calls a few days ago last week, and
yeah.
it looks like a good move so far.
I think we kind of talked about too that, we might see a pop here in July, and this looks like it might be what kind of that pop that we were talking about. But yeah, I think we were mentioning that we might not see the highs that we had back in May again. But yeah, I guess we'll wait and see here what happens.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but here's soybean oil. And there's some differences between these two charts. And I just want to point out this market has been sideways to choppy down, and it's
Until
only been
yesterday.
a
Yeah.
couple of days now. And there's rumors out there that there's some talk of shutting down some of the veg oil markets, or the wait or China from shipping their used cooking oil, and Brazil the same thing. If that's a fact, that's made the market jump, but I know
Yeah.
the charts tell me it's gone up. But
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think canola is following soybean oil. Just as you can see here, like soybean oil was only up yesterday and today, whereas canola's been up the last 5 days. And yeah, if you jump to that rapeseed chart there, rapeseed's also been up 5 or 6 days here in a row. So that's probably where we're seeing canola getting its momentum from. Hey, Harvey, what do you think?
I truly believe that there's a better connection between rapeseed and what's going on in rapeseed and canola, um, just because it's more of a relatable product. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Here's palm oil. It's only been up. It's been up for a few days, but it's only getting to the 78% retracement value. Expect if we were to get to the 100%, because it trades a wider range and a little bit more volatile. And what I'm going to say about this chart is we are not trading the soybean seed. We're trading more of the oil than the seed itself. There's only been a couple of days here, but no big strong moves like there was in the soybean oil. What do you think of this chart, Shay?
Yeah, I mean, spring wheat's obviously has seen quite a bit of a downside here over the last couple weeks. We are maybe finding some support here, and yeah, it looks like, well, there's a big gap there, obviously, that we had over the weekend here into today's trading session. So, I mean, so yeah, it's looking supportive at this point in time. But yeah, I think the harvest is going pretty strong in the US or finishing up there.
Yeah. I think, as we stated earlier, is 54% harvest. So some of that pressure might be
Right.
coming off there now, right? So
Yeah.
Europe being a little bit drier.
France is seeing some not great yields coming off as well, right? In their harvest. So that could have
And
some impact on the
Yeah.
wheat climbing up here a little bit today.
Yeah, so you can see that the 38.2 retracement value on Matif wheat actually was a support level, and it's trying to get into that 50% range and higher. So some of the other milling classes are actually supporting the red spring class for us. And again, just like the soybeans, corn, the other cereal is not really giving us our strength in the red spring or the canola. So yeah, it's just we've had some bad days there, and I think that's about all we have. The next report that we would be paying attention to isn't until August July 12th, the crop production report, and nothing until August for StatsCan. And that's all we have.
Well, thanks for letting me join you today, Harvey, and have a great
Thank
day,
you.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. From Exceed Grain Marketing and
Shaylin
Shaylin.
Erickson. Yeah.